Anaphylaxis struck again, and this was scary. If you want background, this is where I'm coming from. Poisoned, failed by Western medicine, modern construction, and corporate interests. The ebook is 99 cents. We're in the hole for publishing it. It's not a money-making endeavor, that's for sure. So, those of you who don't know, I'm a canary in a coal mine in this toxic world. Natural rubber latex is indeed toxic. It starts out as toxic from the plant, and then they add chemicals just to get it from the plantation to the processing facility. Those chemicals don't just disappear, and then they have to add more chemicals in order to make it into a usable product. It's a known, established, toxic sensitizer. Natural rubber latex is not safe. Read my article below on how a latex mattress wrecked my life. I'll link to a bunch of articles below for additional background, including holding on to hope when your doctor gives up, because I was sent home to die multiple times. If I had not taken my health into my own hands and stopped listening to the stupid experts who had no idea what they were talking about, they were just dispensing corporate propaganda, then I would be dead a million billion times over, because nobody's careful in their research. Nobody's thoughtful in their research hardly. People just have these beliefs that they're just told by the experts that's the truth, and so they just believe it. You can't do that if you actually want to improve your health. So this is why the statements in our articles, the statements in our videos differ from almost everyone who claims to be a healthy living expert. The more you know about a topic, the more you realize that you don't know. The more you study and research materials and products, the more you'll find that everything's basically a crapshoot, and you're good luck getting any actual facts out of manufacturers. I actually have a video in our How to Research Everything series, why CEOs and CEOs and inventors or something like that can't answer your questions. I'll link to that below. Because, a lot of people will ask one question to customer service of a company and then decide that they know the truth about that product. Do you know how customer service actually works? LuLaRoe, I warned about them for years. I said, no, this is not an okay product for someone with a latex allergy. LuLaRoe, whatever. I don't care how it's said. There's a documentary on Amazon about them, which I'll link to that, about their customer service. The whole aim of most customer service representatives is just to tell you what you want to hear, what they think you want to hear, so that you go away and go buy their product. Yeah. And by the way, if you look at articles on our website, such as our non-toxic space heater article, which is very extensive, please read the whole thing. Don't look at the headlines and look at the pictures and think you know what the article actually says. People are so lazy. Don't be lazy. Ridiculous. This winter, I think, might be very difficult. I am praying that it's not going to be. Oh, I'm praying it's not going to be. But I think it might be. Winter is always more difficult for me because I struggle with thermoregulation, and I have for quite some time. But the thermoregulatory issue has improved since moving into our healthy home. I'm able to tolerate more temperatures than I used to be able to tolerate. It used to be a range of about 10 degrees, maybe 14 or so degrees. And outside of that range, then I was at risk of anaphylaxis because of the mast cell activation syndrome. And when I say that I used 5 to 7 Epipens before we moved into our home, that was I was in anaphylaxis all of the time. Okay, all of the time. And I only used an EpiPen if my throat was shut, if it was swelling shut, if it was completely shut, or if I couldn't stop GI anaphylaxis via other methods. I'll link below to my article on natural EpiPen alternatives, and then I also have an article on natural mast cell stabilizers. Interpersonal stress, arguing, strife, that sort of thing is very dangerous for me. It's straight up dangerous for me. So if you're a jerk, you can just go away and go be a jerk to someone else. Because if you are mean to someone who has mast cell activation syndrome, whether it's been diagnosed or not, if you're a jerk to someone who can go into anaphylaxis due to interpersonal stress, then you could literally kill them, and it would be all your fault, by the way. And you would be a murderer. So there's that. That doesn't mean, of course, that, you know, if you are in a relationship with someone who has these issues, that things don't come up interpersonally and you don't have little tiffs, because that's life. But to be a jerk to someone you don't even know, who's only sharing you the truth, who's only being kind to you, this is what people are being taught to do online today, and it's utterly unacceptable. It's immoral, and you know, regardless of your personal faith, it's irrelevant, because we all know that murder is wrong. We know that lying is wrong. We know that these basic things are wrong. Doesn't matter if you're an atheist or agnostic, you acknowledge that there are things that are wrong. Murder is wrong. Being a jerk is wrong. Being evil is wrong. You know, everybody knows there's good and evil. Of course, you never know. Don't argue with bots online. Don't argue with, the trolls online. Just ignore them. Just ignore them. You never know when you're just arguing with a robot. I mean, there are many multinational corporations who engage in trolling online. They pay people to troll online because the truth is dangerous and they don't want that to get out. I mean, you know, my life is truth. Objective truth. My life is objective truth. The truth is not subjective, it's objective. I have had to do my research in order to save my life. So when I do research, any research that I have done, it is extensive. I have spent generally countless hours doing this research. If I have information online, you can bet your bottom dollar that there have been many hours, and most likely days, weeks, or even months in order to obtain that information. That's how careful I am, because I have to be careful. Okay? Getting truth takes time. Some companies, for some products, it's taken me 6 months to get actual information from that company. So when I say anything, and I state it as a fact, then, well, it's probably more likely true than not, regardless of what the lying media says, or the lying alternative media, because they're all liars. If I'd continued to listen to all of the so-called experts, I'd be dead 1,000,000 times over. It weighs on, just gotta be honest, it weighs on me. The deception and lies out there, and the hatred for objective truth, like this is my experience, that is objective truth. That's not subjective. This is a fact. This is my experience. It weighs on me sometimes. The level of deception in this world about everything that is health promoting, it weighs on me, I gotta say, because it's just everywhere, and there's so much of it. It's not just about products. It's not just about medical services. It's not just about pharmaceuticals. Everything. Faith-based information. I mean, the level of deception just really weighs on me. I just have to be honest about that. So Dave and I have a rocket stove that we bought in 2020. Still haven't installed it yet. We're finally doing a few of the things to hopefully install it this winter. We'll see if we, actually achieve that goal or not. We started doing a little bit this past Thursday, and then the next day our plan was to take another step, because there are a lot of steps that go into putting in a wood stove. Now, this is a rocket stove. Okay, it's UL listed, but it's a rocket stove. It's not the same thing as just a regular wood stove, because a rocket stove achieves near complete combustion, but you still have to light a fire in order to start it and these sorts of things. So it's just going to be backup heat for if the power goes out, that sort of thing. Hopefully, if we ever get it installed. Friday morning, Dave and I were talking early in the morning about what we were going to do that day in that regard. And we had a little bit of a tiff. It was so minor. It was super minor. I was like this much upset about it. Super, super minor upset. It's far better to be master of your mind and your emotions than to be master of your possessions. I try to live that. And he was trying to say, this is what I want to do, this is how we should do it, and it wasn't making sense to me, and so I was asking questions about it, and he was a tiny bit jerkish, and I called him on it, and then he said, well, you're just being a little bit jerkish. Or it may have been vice versa. I don't know which one of us, was a little bit jerkish first. Who knows? Doesn't matter. We both were a little bit jerkish. And I said, well, I'm just going to go do my coffee. So I went to the bathroom to do my coffee. I don't drink coffee. Coffee is how I detox and how I'm able to breathe. Partially. So, because I'm not an efficient detoxer, really. So it's one of my... coffee enemas are one of my absolutely essential tools just to survive. I sat down on the floor, I literally just put my stuff down, sat down, and my throat started closing on me. Now, due to the latex allergy, I've had both airborne and contact. I've had my throat close on me multiple times. Same thing with all sorts of reasons with the mast cell activation syndrome, which, of course, these aren't the root causes. These are diagnoses. But radio frequencies also slam my throat shut. I've got an article on the website about how a smart meter almost killed me 3 times, as well as how a small cell tower stole my only grocery store. That happened in May of 2019. So all of these things can trigger anaphylaxis for me. Interpersonal stress also can trigger anaphylaxis for me. But only if I'm actually upset. I was just a little bit upset. I was mostly just minorly vexed and annoyed and frustrated. I just wanted to smack him. It's just ugh. Anyway, we're married. Since we both study, and have learned the truth about a lot of things that we believe that were lies and all these sorts of things. And that's across all industries, including the faith-based industry, by the way. Our relationship has, blossomed, and it's awesome, and we love each other so much, and it's wonderful. But that doesn't mean that we never, ever, ever have disagreements or get into tiffs or anything. And this is so minor, you guys. So minor. My throat started closing on me. So I went, oh boy, what? To the extent that I went, it was absolutely shocking to me. And immediately I thought, I'm not upset enough for this. I'm not upset enough for this. But things are changing. The frequency of the earth is changing. We're all getting sprayed like bugs. Research stratospheric injection. Water's worse. The frequency of water has changed I knew this was happening. I knew this was going to happen as far as the toxicity of the world increasing, because I study prophecy so much. I love you guys regardless of what faith you are. I don't care. I love you. I mean, I do care. Okay, I do care. But we can be friends regardless of what faith you are. I don't, you know, whatever. I've been friends with atheist, agnostic. I've had a lot of Hindi friends in the past. You know, all sorts of. And honestly, my beliefs differ from almost everyone who claims to be a Christian, by the way. There's that. Because I study the original languages, and I study very deeply, carefully, thoughtfully, and I threw everything that I was taught away. Just like with everything else. It's just like with everything else. I love you guys. I don't care what faith you are. Okay? I mean, I do care, but I don't care. All right? We can be friends. Love you. Awesome. Okay, so since Dave and I, started studying, it's very different. But it's also given me more power, because I've learned, okay, I've got this mind. I've got this mind. And with this mind, I can have power over my emotions, because, emotion, strong emotion in a negative way, fear, anger, sadness, can trigger anaphylaxis for me. So I've got that. So, okay, so that's so much better. This was so minor, and my throat was closing in on me. So I went out and I grabbed my Apis mellifica, and I took some Apis mellifica. And usually I take some Apis mellifica and underneath my tongue, and then it's gone. Like the anaphylaxis stops. It's just done. That's not what happened this time. I took it and I came back in the bathroom. I sat down and I was gonna do my coffee, because usually, I don't know, maybe in a few minutes or so. It's hard for me to say exactly how long, because when you are in anaphylaxis, when your throat is swelling, your concept of time is highly warped. So I can't actually tell you how long it takes for the Apis mellifica to take effect for me. Obviously consult your doctor. This is not medical information or advice. This is not FDA approved information. I will link below to my natural mast cell stabilizers and my natural EpiPen alternatives articles. But you have to be so careful about this. So careful. It didn't stop. It just continued to swell. And so I went out. Dave was in the kitchen, and I said, this is bad. This is bad. Like, I couldn't hardly speak. I was trying to figure out what else to do. I took a couple of, I thought that I had enough throat space for a couple of holy basil capsules, so I did take a couple of my homemade holy basil capsules, which was not a good idea. Don't do that. That was stupid. Okay? If you're in anaphylaxis, sometimes you do stupid things. That's just how it is. Because typically your brain flow, if your throat is swelling, then you have less oxygen in your brain. If you have less oxygen in your brain, then you're not going to think as clearly. It's stupid. Don't do it, please. I took a holy basil capsules because this isn't working. I just kept taking more Apis mellifica. It wasn't working. And I didn't know what else to try. So Dave and I went and sat on the side of the bed. He held me and he stroked my head. He's like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. What else can we do? What can I do? Can I do anything? Like, he wasn't freaking out. He knows that stress triggers anaphylaxis for me. So he's just like, what can I do for you? How can I help you? It's gonna be all right. We're gonna get through. It's all right. It's all right. What can I do? What can we do? And I don't know. I had already turned on my oxygen. I had my oxygen on me. Yes, I'm on oxygen at night, you guys. Heed my warnings. Because I figured I needed the oxygen in my head, in my body, which is true. So I had my oxygen on my nose, and then I just kept taking more Apis, and you're just trying to, like, okay, this is the mind, okay, better be master of your mind and your emotions, being calm. And I was picturing myself out in a meadow, and it was, I was trying to do all of the things just to calm my body down, because I know, yes, I'm in in this body, but I've got a lot of control over it, okay? Because of my mind, I've got a lot of control over the body, regardless of the stupidity of my body. And I just kept thinking, I shouldn't be reacting right now. This is not right. I was not upset enough for this. Like, I just kept thinking that I was not upset enough for this. And I thought, this is not how I want to die, because it wasn't stopping. And after the fact, Dave said that he was afraid that I was about to die too, because it wasn't stopping. Finally, I don't know how long it was, you guys. Again, your understanding of time gets warped when you're in this sort of situation. Finally, finally it released some, and I was able to take a deep breath. And still, all I can think today, I mean, it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or something, is I was not upset enough for that. The world just keeps getting more and more toxic, which I know is going to happen. I knew it. I know it. It's just going to continue because I've studied prophecy so much. I love you again, regardless of what faith you are. This does not bode well for the winter for me, you guys. This does not bode well at all, because winter is always harder for me. But, and I can't go anywhere. I haven't left our property since June of 2019. We can't just up and move somewhere. I mean, obviously this house is my lifeline. But even if it wasn't, we can't just up and go somewhere. We can't just up and go south for the winter. That's not a possibility for me. Because if I leave our property, I end up with chest pain, heart palpitations, and a slammed throat shut, or slammed shut throat. Sorry, my brain just had a brain fart there for a second. I'm gonna have to keep trying more things to get this body just calmed down. I didn't realize it was that bad. This was over Thanksgiving weekend, and so there are more people around in the area with cell phones. This is fall, so the leaves are down now. They pretty much all came down at the same time, which means that there's less protection from radio frequencies from neighbors. I don't know. I'm going to keep trying things. I've always got a list of things to try. I've always got a list of herbs and supplements to try. So I don't actually need any suggestions. Thank you. I love you. If you're thinking of suggestions, if you're solutions based as I am, I've tried lots of things, and there are a lot of things that I would never try. There are a lot of things I would never take. But I've still got things to try. Got a couple other mushrooms to try. I've got a few other supplements that I've never tried. I just tried, and I've been trying not to use essential oils medicinally because they are concentrated plant VOCs, but they are also powerful medicine. And I've been trying not to go to that level, but I think I might need to here soon. I'm thinking I might need to try that soon. But I only try one thing at a time. I can't try multiple things at a time. That's not responsible. I'm going to continue to try different things. Explore our website, explore our videos. We've got tons of information about different supplements that might help you regardless of what you're struggling with. We've got lots of information on, homesteading and EMF mitigation and all of the things that go with latex allergy, mast cell activation syndrome. Living a healthier life. Please heed the warning that is my life. I don't want anyone to go through the things that I've gone through. That's why I wrote the book. That's why we have the blog. That's why we put the videos out. Because I want people to be healthy as they possibly can. I don't want other people to experience, I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't want anyone to go through what we've gone through, because it was 100%, everything that I've gone through in my life medically, all of my current medical issues are 100% preventable. I have them because I trusted the experts. I have these issues because my parents trusted the experts, and I'm not blaming my parents at all, okay? They did what they thought was right, which was the advice that they were given was wrong, but they didn't know that, okay? No blame on them at all. I was very fortunate to have parents who actually cared about me. I'm sorry this video is a bit of a downer. I just want to be authentic and real with you guys about the reality of living with anaphylaxis, living with the threat of anaphylaxis hanging over you at all times. I can't speak for my husband, but I know this weighs on him heavily. He does everything he can to protect me, and that includes if there's a stressful situation. He tries to handle it himself because he knows what stress can do to me. If there, yes, he has a cell phone, but I made a little Faraday case for it, which I will link to that below because it's literally cardboard and foil, I think. Made it for him. He stores it in there. He doesn't turn it on our property. He does actually really need it for the work that he does. But he does everything he can to protect me, and I know that weighs heavily on him. And if you love someone with these issues, if you love someone with a latex allergy, mast activation syndrome, environmental illness, and you believe them, thank you. If you love them, believe them, because this is not what they want, okay? They don't want to be imprisoned in their home. They don't want to be imprisoned on their property. They don't want to be limited in what they can do. They don't want to be limited in the items that they can buy. They don't want these things. But that's the hand they've been dealt. That's the hand I've been dealt. If you love them, you will believe them. If you believe them and you thus love them, I can't imagine how difficult it is for you knowing how much your behavior and your choices can impact them. Thank you on their behalf for believing them. Thank you for loving them. It is a priceless treasure for any of us with these issues to come across anyone who is willing to completely upend their life and all of their belongings just so that you can live. Thank you for being here. As always, question everything. Don't trust the experts. Until next time, non-toxic out. Go sign up for our weekly newsletter, our weekly or less newsletter. Explore our website. Explore our videos. We've got tons of information online for all of these issues. Non-toxic out.